Hi, everybody. Welcome to another wee edition of Soul Food, Food for the Soul. Me sharing my passion, which I say every time I do one of these. My passion is to help others to spiritually awaken, for people to awaken to their own depth of being. I was thinking this week. There's a wee saying we say, "I'm only human," and it made me think about that. And I realised, nah, we're not only human. I'm not only human. I'm a spiritual being. I have to allow myself to be human because I'm having a human experience. A spiritual beings having a human experience. But so we're not just human. We have to allow ourselves to be human and evolve through and navigate through all the stuff that we go through as humans. Trauma, confusion, pain, hurt, resentment, guilt, fear, and passion, compassion. But I think there's a lot of confusion on this journey we call life. But yeah, we're not just human. We're much more than that. And as I say, my passion is to help others discover that for themselves. Now, one of the main things that I do to get in touch with my spirit and the spirit of the universe, which are actually entwined in my experience, is to be still, to be present, and to find a meditation that brings you into the moment, being mindful of your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. Sometimes it's very difficult to just sit and feel whatever's going on. It's too easy to run away from that and to look for stimulus, to look for entertainment, or to look for escapism. And there's lots of seemingly harmless escapisms. There's loads of good entertainment and stuff, but when we're doing that to the extent of feeling our feelings and acknowledging them and processing them, then we can't really grow and we can't get in touch with our authentic self. The mind is so busy. We think all the time. We just think, as I've said before, the mind is a thought producer, and most of the time, a lot of these thoughts are unhelpful. The redundant, repetitive thoughts that we've thought most of our life. So anything that can give us a wee break from that. Deep breathing. Why is deep breathing, something as simple as breathing, so profound and such a spiritual practice for centuries? One of the reasons is if we focus on our breathing, if we put our attention on our breathing, then just for a moment, our attention's off of our mind and off of the thoughts, and we become more present. The breath of life, breathing in life. One of the most fascinating concepts that I've discovered is that it's always now. There is never a time where it isn't now. And unfortunately, we are very rarely fully in the now. We're, we're very rarely fully present in the now, the beautiful space in between past and future. The only place where reality lives. Reality, it can only be now. There's never been a time in our lives, your life or mine, which wasn't now. There'll never be anything that ever happened that didn't happen in the now. There's never anything that's going to happen that's not going to be in the now. And when we find a spiritual practice, a meditation, some sort of practice that helps us be present, we realize this for ourselves. We realize that time is a concept. Time is a man-made thing, and we need it. We need time, but there's an eternal presence and stillness in the now that is always there. And in that presence, there is peace, there is love, there is joy, there is a knowing that there's much, much more going on here than the contents of our mind. There is much, much going on here than the clashes of people's egos and minds, religions and politics and them and us, division. There's a much, much bigger picture. And you only get in touch with that bigger picture. You only start to see that bigger picture when you wake up to the fourth dimension, 11, and you become aware of your spirit. And you realize again, you're not your past, you're not your family, you're not the roles you play. You're something much more undescribable than that. You're an eternal human being who's come to this planet to awaken, who's come in this human. There's a school of thought that I quite like. I'm not 100% convinced of it, but I quite like it. And it goes along the lines of that we actually choose to come here. We choose the circumstances we were born into. We choose the journey of pain, confusion, and all the stuff we go through. And but part of the deal is, we forget that we were eternal, that we were already beings before we incarnated into these human bodies. And part of the journey is to awaken up and remember that again. I like that idea because it seems to be some of what I'm doing in my journey. I seem to be waking up to this sense of eternity, this sense of the part of us that when we leave these bodies doesn't die. I'm sure there's many people listening to this who have had close friends and family die. I certainly have. And it's a very, very painful thing because, as I say, we are human. We're not only human, but we are human. It's a very, very painful thing. It's a very, very confusing thing to lose people to tragedy, drug overdoses, accidents, especially people who didn't have much chance in life. It doesn't really make a great deal of sense. The only way I can accept that is to believe what I do believe, and that is that they're not dead. Their human death was painful, sometimes ridiculously so, sometimes unimaginably so. But they're not dead. They're not dead. Many people who have had experiences of loved ones, and they sense them. Some people say that's just an imagination, but for them people who sense that, you'll never convince them it's their imagination. And it's the same with people who knock the idea of us being spiritual beings. You can't convince people who have decided, who have closed their minds on these things, and it's pointless even trying. But you can encourage people to have their own experiences of this. The stuff I believe in changes all the time, but my experiences are real. How I look at them experiences may alter slightly as I grow as a person, but the experiences are real. It's hard to put spiritual experiences in a few lines or a few words because everybody describes their own spiritual experiences in their own words, and they all differ, and yet they all have similarities. But the point being, we truly do have a human spirit. There truly is a spirit in this universe that cares about us human beings, that I believe created us human beings. And to look at the world, it doesn't seem like that, I know, but we have to realize that we're thinking of these things with a finite mind, a human mind, and we can't fathom the infinite with a finite mind, but we can have a knowing. We can have a knowing, as I said in one of my other videos, that not needing to know or understand everything is okay. In fact, it's quite freeing. You know, I don't need to know or understand everything because nobody ever will while we're on these human journeys. But I need to have some sort of beliefs that work for me, so as I can live with the pain, I can live with the yin and yang of life, I can live with the the great joys and the great sorrows, and I can marry them as part of this journey. I found it very, very difficult at one time to just accept that pain is part of life. Death, as we call it, is part of life. I'm going to die one day and leave this body. Some some great teachers recommend meditating on my death and seeing it for what it is. I'm moving on to the next part of our journey. I'm I've not done much of that yet, but I think I will because, you know, I'm not frightened of death. I don't want to die yet. I really believe that I've got things to do before I die. I've got more wonderful people to meet. I've got more wonderful people to influence in a good way, and to meet many other people who are going to influence me in a good way. I just have this, and sometimes I wonder, a lot of the people who die, did they have that sense that they still had things to do? And you know, but I truly do believe that I'm not ready to die. That's for sure. But I'm not frightened of it. Do you ever become ready? I don't know. But it's a thing I'm not scared to speak about because it's a fact. It's going to happen. I have an appointment with what we call death. I have an appointment with this body switching off and dying and my spirit moving on. That's an appointment I must keep. I just hope it's a good distance away. But so I just want to speak into the hearts and minds of people who may be listening to this who are struggling in pain and in the midst of a lot of confusion and find it hard to believe that there is more good in this world than there is evil, which I believe with all my heart, big time, much, much more good. People who are maybe in their own personal darkness and locked in the, the painful patterns of the past. I want to just send loving thoughts and prayers to you, and 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 I want to just hope that wherever you are in your journey, you find a way through it. A lot of the time we're wanting situations to be removed. Oh, I wish this wasn't happening. I wish that wasn't happening. And some people even pray for these things to be removed. And I found it wiser to seek the strength to come through these things, to seek the wisdom, to seek the friends and ask for help to come through things. Because situations and things are for us to go through. Because we come out the other side uh, more human, more strong, more wise, hopefully, and having more empathy for others who are going through it. So, just for the people who are listening to this who are struggling with life in general, I just encourage you that there's more to it than what you see and what you hear and what you feel. There's a part of you that is connected to the divine. There's a divine part of you. And if you can keep an open mind and go on your own search inward, you will discover this for yourself. And it's not a magic wand that takes all your struggles away, but it's the beginning of coming through struggles. It's the beginning of awakening, and it's the beginning of realizing that none of your life has been a waste. None of it. One of the great benefits, one of the many, many benefits of being awakened to your spirit is that you realize none of your life has been a waste. There is no regrets. The good, the bad, and the ugly has all contributed to who you are today. You've made it this far. That tells me a lot. It should tell you a lot as well. It should tell you a lot about yourself. So my hopes and prayers are that the people who are struggling, who listen to my wee videos, get some hope and strength and start to go inwards And I start to ask outward as well. There's an outward, inward thing going on. Outward and inward. Spirit of the universe, your spirit. What have we got to lose by saying, Spirit of the universe, are you really there? All these people that talk about spirituality and that there is a loving power, are they all bonkers? Are they all deluded? Or are you really there? I'd like to know as well. I, I know hundreds of people who have cried out prayers like that, and the answers have not always immediately, but the answers have manifested in their life, and they've started to awaken on their own journey. I just encourage anybody who's confused about these issues, keep it simple. Bypass the preacher man, bypass me, bypass everything you know, and just humbly ask, are you there? Who am I? What are we here for? These questions get answered by the universe, by the spirit of love, by the spirit of life, and then we learn to get more stuff out the way that blocks us from that. But it starts with just asking. It starts with saying, I'm open. My heart's open. My mind's open. I don't know much. Nobody does. Help me. Help me see. Open my eyes. Help me awaken. If you're there, you know, that could be, that wee heart cry could be the beginning of somebody's awakening. So, coming to an end here, and I just hope this has been food for somebody's soul who watches this. I always say if one person gets something out of my videos, I'll keep making them. So keep giving me wee feedback. Unfortunately, I still can't go on Facebook on my phone, so I'm not on it much at all on my PC, just to post this and maybe once a week to look at some other people's posts. But give us some feedback if you've enjoyed this, if you've got anything out of it. And my heart and prayers go out to each and every one of you. I don't know a lot of you who maybe watch these, but I do, because you're human, and that lets me know a lot about you. That lets me know that we're on this human journey, and life is a struggle at times. So, my friends, remember, peace is possible, and I'll end again with my positive affirmation that when we let go of everything that isn't love, the only thing we're left with is love. If we let go of hatred, bitterness, anger, judging towards ourselves, towards others, the only thing we're left with is love. So much love and peace to each and every one of you. God bless you, and I'll be making another video soon. Much love. Bye bye.